Republicans talking tough and standing up to Russia is like apple pie and ice cream. They just go together. But this is 2022, and everything is different. Here is former President Trump talking about Putin's invasion of Ukraine.
I went in yesterday, and there was a television screen, and I said, this is genius. Putin declares a big portion of the Ukraine. Putin declares it as independent. Oh, that's wonderful. This never would have happened with us. Had I been in office, not even thinkable.
In fairness, it didn't happen when President Trump was in office. There is, though, a Republican civil war breaking out over how to respond to Russia's military moves into Ukraine. One side, led by Tucker Carlson, and the other side, traditional Russian hawks like Lindsey Graham. Radio talk show host Erick Erickson with us now. Boy, I feel like Ronald Reagan would be disappointed.
Yeah, very much so. You know, there is a real divide in the Republican Party, but it's notable the elected officials are very firmly on the side of a firm line on Putin, and the people who aren't elected, who are pundits and commentators, are kind of divided on this. I think this is all part of the realignment of American politics, where a lot of people are exiting the conservative movement into some sort of national populism where they want to be isolationists, and the rest of us kind of realize Ukraine's just the start for Putin if you actually take him at his word.
You think about one of those people, national populist movement, somebody running for office, J.D. Vance, author of Hillbilly Elegy, running for Senate in Ohio.
You know, Ohio has one of the largest Ukrainian immigrant populations in the nation, so probably plays pretty poorly in Ohio. He's playing, I think, to the Trump base to try to rally some money there. He's playing a national campaign in a state that has a massive Ukrainian immigrant population. We should be able to multitask there. I think J.D. Vance, that sounds good to a lot of the people who are skeptical of being aggressive on Russia, want to be isolationist, but it probably sounds pretty bad to a lot of those voters in Ohio.
How did we forget the lessons of being isolationist through the 1920s and 1930s? How is the Chamberlain at Munich example not front and center in every person's mind?
Because we got so good at maintaining a military that could fight two wars at once. It was so successful that we decided we didn't need it anymore. We forgot the reason we had this post-World War II assessment of our military was to be able to fight China and Russia concurrently at the same time. And once we didn't have to fight them, we thought, I guess we just don't need this anymore. And we kind of forgot our history. Americans, our information moves so fast these days, we can forget the past, and we're doomed to repeat it by forgetting it.
Yeah, party breakdown on considering Russia the enemy. Only 39% of Republicans, 43% of Democrats, a greater percentage say that. We had a congressman on yesterday who made that very same point about our inability to fight a two-front war. Candace Owens, I suggest every American who wants to know what's actually going on in Russia and Ukraine, read this transcript of Putin's address. As I've said for a month, NATO, under direction from the United States, is violating previous agreements and expanding eastward. We are at fault. She's very popular in the populist Trumpian movement. What's weird is that you have the Trumpian movement that is this populist isolationist movement, but as President Trump killed Soleimani, killed 300 Russian mercenaries in Syria. The world's dictators really didn't misbehave that much.
No, they didn't. And in fact, he was far more aggressive on Putin than Biden has been. In fact, Biden has canceled some of Trump's sanctions on Russia. Russia never went into Ukraine. So there is this weird disconnect where a lot of people on the right who are in punditry think they can be just like Donald Trump. It hasn't even worked for candidates running for office to try to emulate Donald Trump. And frankly, Trump says a lot of stuff, but his record against Russia was pretty good.
Yeah. You said it very well. A lot of people think they can be Donald Trump, but they cannot. Erick, you are the right man for the conversation. It's good to see you, my friend.
You too. Take care.
All right, you too. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.